Hello, everyone. It's Frank, and we're ready to tackle some essential questions for your Louisiana CDL test. Getting your commercial driver's license in the Pelican State means you need to be well versed in safe driving practices and regulations. Let's dive right in. What is the primary purpose of the general knowledge test for a CDL? To ensure a driver has basic knowledge of safe CMV operation. This test confirms you understand the fundamental rules and safe practices for commercial vehicles. On to the next one. Before driving, what should you do with the starter switch key during a pre-trip inspection? Put it in your pocket. This prevents someone from accidentally starting the engine while you're inspecting the vehicle. What's after this? How can you check for a leak in hydraulic brakes? Pump the pedal 3 times, then hold firm pressure for 5 seconds. The pedal should not move. If the pedal moves, you likely have a leak in the hydraulic system. Moving on. When backing with a trailer, why is it important to use a helper? Backing is always dangerous, and a helper improves visibility. A helper can provide crucial guidance and spot hazards you can't see. So, what's next? What is the most important hand signal you and a helper should agree on when backing? Stop. This signal must be clearly understood and obeyed immediately. Next on our list, how far ahead should a driver look when driving a commercial vehicle? 12 to 15 seconds. This allows you enough time to react to changing traffic and road conditions. Okay, what's after this? What two main things should you look for ahead on the road? Traffic and road conditions. Always be scanning for other vehicles, pedestrians, and any changes in the road surface. Let's move on. What is your most important way to see the sides and rear of your vehicle? Mirrors. Properly adjusted and frequently checked mirrors are vital for situational awareness. What about this next one? When stopped on a divided highway, where should your warning devices, reflective triangles, be placed? 10 feet, 100 feet, and 200 feet toward approaching traffic. This placement provides adequate warning to oncoming drivers. On to the next question. What three things add up to total stopping distance? Perception distance plus reaction distance plus braking distance. Understanding these components helps you estimate how much space you need to stop. Moving forward, if you go twice as fast, how much will your stopping distance increase? 4 times. This illustrates the significant impact of speed on stopping distance. Let's consider the next one. Are empty trucks generally better at braking than fully loaded trucks? False. Empty trucks often have less traction and can be harder to stop. Empty trucks can bounce and have less grip, making braking more challenging. And the next point, what is black ice? A thin layer of ice on the road that you can see the road through. Black ice is extremely dangerous because it's nearly invisible. What's next? How do you find out how many seconds of following distance space you have? Wait until a vehicle passes a shadow or landmark and count the seconds until you pass it. This is a simple way to ensure you maintain a safe following distance. Moving on to this. If you're driving a 30-foot vehicle at 55 miles per hour, how many seconds of following distance should you allow? 4 seconds. The rule is 1 second per 10 feet of vehicle length at speeds under 40 miles per hour, plus an additional second for speeds over 40 miles per hour. For a 30-foot vehicle at 55 miles per hour, it's 3 seconds for length plus 1 second for speed equals 4 seconds. All right, let's see. If someone is following you too closely, tailgating, should you decrease your following distance? False. You should increase your own following distance. This gives you more room to react without needing to brake suddenly, which could cause the tailgater to hit you. What's after this? If you swing wide to the left before turning right, what might another driver try to do? Pass you on the right. This is a common mistake and leads to crashes. Always be aware of your vehicle's off-tracking. Next question. What is the maximum height allowed for a commercial vehicle in Louisiana unless otherwise specified? 14 feet. Always know your vehicle's height and pay attention to overhead clearance signs. Let's get to this one. What are some signs of an impaired driver on the road? Stopping at a green light, driving too slowly, or weaving. Be vigilant for these signs and give impaired drivers plenty of space. Okay, what's next? What is the minimum tread depth for all tires on a commercial vehicle other than the front tires? 2/30 inch. This applies to all tires that are not on the steering axle. Moving on. What is the common cause of fires in commercial vehicles? Improper fueling, loose fuel connections, or shorts in the electrical system. Regular inspections can help identify and prevent these issues. So, what's next? When fighting a fire, what is the first thing you should do? Park the vehicle off the road and away from buildings or anything flammable. Your safety and containing the spread of fire are paramount. Next on our list, what should you do if your front wheels begin to skid? Continue in a straight line, keep traveling, and ease off the accelerator. Resist the urge to brake or steer sharply, which can worsen the skid. Okay, what's after this? What does communication mean in safe driving? Signaling your intentions to other motorists, using your turn signals, brake lights, and horn properly helps prevent surprises. Let's move on. What is true about blind spots on commercial vehicles? All trucks have blind spots which mirrors cannot cover. Always assume there are vehicles in your blind spots and check carefully. What about this next one? When driving a commercial vehicle with a height over 13 feet, what should you do if you aren't sure a clearance is high enough? Stop and make sure. Never guess about clearance. Hitting an overhead structure can cause severe damage and injury. On to the next question. When should you use your high beams? Whenever possible and when legal. Use them when there's no oncoming traffic and you're not following another vehicle closely. Moving forward, what is controlled braking? Squeezing brakes firmly without locking them up. This technique maximizes braking force while maintaining steering control. Let's consider the next one. When should stab braking be used? Only in an emergency. This technique involves applying full brakes until wheels lock, then releasing, then reapplying. It's for vehicles without ABS. And the next point. If an oncoming driver drifts into your lane, what is often the best emergency steering action? Move to your right. Moving to the right side of the road is generally safer than swerving left into oncoming traffic. What's next? If you experience a rear wheel over acceleration skid, what should you do? Release the accelerator and depress the clutch if manual. This allows the drive wheels to regain traction. Moving on to this. What are two ways to know when to shift gears in a manual transmission CMV? Speedometer or tachometer readings and engine sound. Listen to your engine and watch your gauges to shift at the correct RPM. All right, let's see. When driving down a long downgrade, what gear should you be in? A lower gear than the one you went up in. This allows the engine to provide braking force, reducing wear on your service brakes. What's after this? If you have a tire blowout on the steering axle, what should you do? Grip the wheel firmly, maintain speed and control, then slow down slowly. A front tire blowout is extremely dangerous. Maintain control of the steering wheel. Next question. What is the proper action to take if your vehicle begins to hydroplane? Release the accelerator. Ease off the gas and let the vehicle slow down until traction returns. Let's get to this one. When traveling down a downgrade, what is the proper braking action? Alternate between hard brake pressure and release or light steady pressure. This method, snub braking, helps control speed without overheating your brakes. Okay, what's next? When loading a vehicle, if the load is all loaded to the rear, what may result? Poor traction on drive wheels. An unbalanced load can reduce traction on your drive wheels and make steering difficult. Moving on. How far before turning or changing lanes should turn signals be used? At least 100 feet. Signal early to give other drivers ample time to react to your intentions. So, what's next? Which statement about commercial vehicle mirrors is true? All trucks have blind spots which mirrors cannot cover. Always remember to check your blind spots, even with properly adjusted mirrors. Next on our list, what is the minimum number of seconds of following distance for a 40-foot vehicle at 25 miles per hour? 2 seconds. At 25 miles per hour, you need at least 1 second per 10 feet of vehicle length. So for 40 feet, that's 4 seconds. Okay, what's after this? What are the requirements for farm vehicles to be exempt from CDL requirements in Louisiana? They must be controlled and operated by a farmer, used to transport farm products or supplies to or from a farm. Specific criteria define what qualifies as a farm vehicle exemption. Let's move on. How long is a CDL generally valid in Louisiana before renewal is required? 6 years. Keep track of your CDL expiration date to ensure timely renewal. What about this next one? What is the legal BAC blood alcohol concentration limit for a CDL holder operating a CMV? 0.04%. This is the federal limit for CDL holders. Even a lower BAC can result in being placed out of service. On to the next question. What must a CDL holder do regarding their medical certificate in Louisiana? Carry a valid medical certificate and ensure it is updated with the OMV. Your medical certification status is crucial for maintaining your CDL. Moving forward, what type of braking system failure would cause the low air pressure warning to activate? A leak in the air brake system causing pressure to drop below 60 psi. A low air pressure warning indicates a serious problem that needs immediate attention. Let's consider the next one. What is the purpose of the Louisiana Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Section, CVS? To ensure compliance with state and federal motor carrier safety and hazardous materials regulations. CVS officers are responsible for enforcing commercial vehicle laws to ensure safety. And the next point. What should you do if your brakes become wet after driving through water? Apply light brake pressure to heat them up and dry them out. Wet brakes can be ineffective, so drying them out is important. What's next? What is the speed limit for commercial vehicles in Louisiana work zones? Reduce speed limit, often 10-20 miles per hour below the normal limit. Always slow down in work zones for the safety of workers and yourself. Moving on to this. If you are transporting hazardous materials, what specific documentation must you carry? Shipping papers that properly describe the hazardous materials. These papers contain vital information for identification and emergency response. All right, let's see. What does the Louisiana CDL handbook emphasize about vehicle weight distribution? Evenly distribute weight to ensure stability and proper axle loading. Proper weight distribution is key to safe handling and preventing excessive wear on vehicle components. That concludes our comprehensive review for the Louisiana CDL test. Keep studying these regulations and safe driving practices. Knowing this information is vital for your success and for keeping Louisiana's roads safe. Good luck.